Hello. Tonight we're going to be doing a class on. Let's put it this way. Let's start over. I'm doing a series of classes on how to synthesize a chart, which is one of the hardest things really to do in astrology. It's where everybody tends to get stuck. Everybody knows all the individual pieces, but when they try to put it together in a whole, they get lost. They don't see the what's important, what's not important. They don't know what to emphasize, what to disemphasize, and how to put it together and make a real person. So we're going to try to do that in this series of classes. Tonight I want to talk about a special case, and sometimes from the special case you can learn more about the general than if you talk about the general. And the special case tonight is what's called stelliums. Stellium is when you have 4 or more planets in one sign. In other words, that sign and house where those planets are become very important. So in general, when you do a horoscope, 80% of the horoscope, usually 80% of the horoscope is based on the ascendant. And if you'll ask what's so important really about the ascendant, that it's 80% of the chart. Well, the answer is that the ascendant is the main focus of the chart. The ascendant is a receiver. The ascendant doesn't send out energy, it receives energy. It receives, and what energy does it receive? It receives the energy of everything that's in your horoscope. It receives the energy of all the planets, of all the signs the planets are in, of all the different aspects, and it takes all that energy into itself and then expresses it through its own nature. For example, a Capricorn ascendant is going to take all that energy and use it in a Capricornian way. Very methodical, very slow, very responsibly, if it's a good Capricorn, in a very responsible way, in a very serious manner. Right? And so each sign is going to take all that energy and then use it according to its sign. An Aries ascendant will be different. The Aries ascendant will be very outgoing, very forward. Take all that energy and use it in a very Aryan, Martian type of way to express it, to bring out everything that's in the horoscope. And so because of that, we say the horoscope really is 80%, 80% is really the ascendant. Because the ascendant then is how you use all that energy. In what way do you express that energy? And so the ascendant becomes extraordinarily important. Now there's one exception to the rule. What's the exception to the rule? Is in the case where you have 4 or more planets in another sign. In that case, then that sign becomes very important, and that house where that sign and planets are in becomes very important, so much so important that it competes with the ascendant. In other words, you have 2 energy centers in the chart. So instead of the ascendant now being 80% of the chart, it takes all the energy and uses it. Now it's going to come out to be something like 50% the ascendant and 50% the stellium. In other words, there's 2 basic energy centers. Why am I telling you all this? Because I had a client yesterday, and she has Virgo rising with Mars and Venus in the 12th house in Virgo. But she also has 4 planets in Libra. They're in the first house, close to, not too far away from the second house. And she has 2 planets in Aries, which sort of work together with Libra. They're ricocheted. So in this case, it's a stellium, so it's hard to know which is the more important one. Is Virgo more important or Libra? No, I don't want to go into that horoscope tonight, and maybe we'll do it another time. But how do you determine if the stellium is good or bad for the horoscope? So you look if the horoscope is, if the stellium is connected with the ascendant. If the stellium is connected with the ascendant, especially if it's connected in a good way, say a sextile or a trine or something like that, then it's extraordinarily good, because then you have all these 4 planets working together in a harmonious way with the ascendant, and it can be a very important, very important consideration. Now, sometimes it's more difficult. For example, in the horoscope that I'm talking about, where there's a Virgo ascendant, all the planets in Libra. So that's more complicated, because there's no connection really between Virgo and Libra. Always 12 signs away is the house of secret enemies. And Virgo is the secret enemy of Libra. And so it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult configuration, because they don't really have a connection with each other. It's like the Virgo is like the servant, and the Libra is the mistress of the house, and there's always sort of a sharp in connection between the servant girl and the mistress of the house. And so it's sort of an inconjunct type of aspect where they can't really relate to each other, and so you need more work to overcome it. And that's I think that's enough for tonight, and maybe we'll continue with this idea, work some more on stelliums next time. Thank you.